When I pressed play on this song, I was not aware that I was signing a contract to have them living rent-free in my brain for the rest of my life. And yet here we are with Bridear's new song, Eyes of Doubt. Let's unpack. Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where we are back with Eyes of Doubt by Bridear, their brand new song that came out a few days ago. And you know what, Bridear have been one of those groups who I've really actually kind of enjoyed more and more as I've listened to them. When we first heard them, we did kind of like a weekend of listening to some of their songs because they've been recommended so many times to this channel a few years back. And I remember thinking, oh, it's a solid band who do some good hard rocking songs. Then, just as time passed, we found they were capable of doing much more diverse and interesting styles of writing. So where does Eyes of Doubt land? Well, we'll break down the song structure first of all. Now, structurally is kind of actually an interesting place to start with this song, because everything I could say about the structure I feel would be somewhat misleading to the overall effect. See, it is pretty much the most straight shooting song I've ever heard by Bridear, and we have to take into consideration as well that this is a single. Therefore, you know, it's probably accompanied by a lot of other album tracks that could be very different, and apologies, I haven't got those as point of reference. But looking at this song, they clearly were not going for complexity here, they were not going for anything sort of nuanced. This was all about having maximum impact. It was about basically being a vehicle for probably, as I mentioned in the beginning of this review, one of the most earwormy choruses I've heard in a while. And again, even the chorus, very simple, all about impactful earworminess. This whole song is basically your verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, kind of very clearly designed, efficient, contemporary rock song. But as I mentioned, that is somewhat selling it short. So, what does it do to really elevate itself? Well, as I've mentioned on this channel before in other reviews of other bands as well, there's two ways of approaching simplicity. One is to write simple in a way that suggests that that's basically all you can or aspire to do, and the other is that kind of knowing simplicity from a band who could do more complicated things, as Bridear have shown, and yet are doing this very purposefully. Now, this brings me back again to that chorus. See, the chorus is just da 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 da. Da, 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 da. And you've got that four chord progression in the chorus that just goes up, 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 up. It's all incredibly simple, but in the same way that the vocal melody kind of hammers home 3 more times, it has got that sort of change in rhythm. A change in rhythm can make a vocal melody in a chorus much more interesting. You think about most of the most interesting and catchy melodies you ever hear in a chorus, it's that little bit where it changes in rhythm. That's the bit where it really hooks into your brain, and people don't think about this a lot of the time. If you're just delivering a melody that is very steady, it's very hard for it to be as catchy. Those little changes of rhythm make it interesting, and I get the feeling that this chorus, the melody is designed almost to be something that you could chant along. It really works on that particular angle. And that chord pattern, it's not just any old 4 chords. Yes, I know I often complain about the old 4-chord chorus. It gets a little bit tiresome. We've heard that, I think, enough since the 1960s. However, in this particular case, the 4 chords they use, as I mentioned, are going up every time. It's all about ramping up the feeling, ramping up the energy. It gives you that feeling that there is a sort of an urgency, an energy, but a direction behind it, like the actual song is going somewhere. So this is simple, but in a knowing way. And I should also give a little bit of credit to the drummer as well, who does a nice job of changing up the rhythm halfway through a couple of the verses and just sort of giving everything a little bit of speed. And also the fact that when we get the guitar solo come in, the guitar solo itself is laid over an increase, sort of a step up in the key of the backing. Just these little things that, okay, they're not particularly earth-shattering, or we've heard them before in other bands, but they're all put together to make a song that isn't just sort of tiredly flopping out this chorus that is just like, oh, that's catchy. It's like, no, it's built to be efficient, it's built to have purpose, and it's built to have a sort of an energy that supports, it gives a sort of mood to the chorus. You feel like, yeah, I actually want to chant this along. Now, the production is where we get into a rather interesting and slightly different element here, in that this could really split you onto what you like most of all. If you're the sort of person who likes your bands to sound raw and gritty and have that energy of, you know, you can hear the drum kit rattling, you can hear all the tones coming off of the bass, that's not what you're going to get here at all. This is very, very cleanly and beautifully produced. Now, what has the most impact for you is going to be a subjective thing, because we are past the days of the so-called loudness wars in mastering and everything, and we have very different audiences of different ages who are used to different tiles and different things. So basically what I'm going to do is more describe the fact that, in my opinion, this song works towards those sort of people who like their guitar to be sort of compressed and turned up, to be really filling out the sound, but to sound that way in a sort of purposeful manner, rather than the sort of raw energy that you'd get maybe from a more garagey or punky sort of band. So if you like that, if you like your bands to have a clean sheen and a sort of really nice studio sort of sound of production, that will be here. Unfortunately, that is slightly a bit problematic, in that one of the things that perhaps goes against this song is the fact that the guitar and the bass often are mimicking each other. The bass doesn't go against the guitar quite a lot, and therefore a lot of that mid-range of the sound does kind of sound like this one uniform sludge of guitar and bass. You don't quite get as much separation. So you could arguably say that the song in some ways sounds a little bit thin, because the sounds don't spread out enough. The bass is not really in the writing separating itself much from the guitar. But overall, still, it is loud in the headphones, it is punchy, and as I said, the purpose is a sort of simple impact, and on that particular degree, definitely works. And a final shout out to the video as well. The video, as sometimes comes up, is one of those videos that I think really captures the whole vibe of the song, in that it is simple and fun, and it kind of works. Yeah, they're filming in a lot of people notice this. I noticed this also came up on social media and in our Discord. A lot of people notice they're filming in a venue that we've kind of seen before in other music videos. It's like, that's, not only are you not the first band to record in large open storage space, but you're certainly not the only one to record in that large open storage space. So yeah, this video is definitely ticking off a couple of stereotypes, but still, it's good, it's efficient, it works. The band, most importantly, look like they're just kind of enjoying what they're doing. So it's all very efficient on that front as well. It's a serviceable video, and that kind of works nicely, but it brings us on to the final conclusion here, really. And the conclusion is really that this song works if you're going to take it as a commercial single. On that front, yeah, it's not doing anything particularly new that we haven't heard before, but it is really furiously catchy. It's not got that sort of raw, energetic sound and interesting, intricate playing that you might expect from a lot of bands, especially Japanese bands, but what it loses in that element, it gains in just a sort of efficient, powerful, sort of blasting, sing-along clarity, really. So this is a song that is going to very heavily appeal to a lot of people, and then to some people it's going to be the antithesis of what they regard to be rock, which is very interesting from a band who, as I say, have shown themselves to be kind of a musically intricate and interesting band. So for me, I guess the biggest review I could give is to say that great as a single for people who are into that kind of thing, but I would love to see what it's accompanied by on an album. What songs it's going to come out alongside. If it's going to come out alongside some of the more intricate and interesting songs that I've heard from Bridear in recent years, then I think that will make a very nice pairing, and you can end up with a album which does what my favourite albums tend to do, which is go all the way from efficient, catchy songs to much more nuanced and complicated songs in between, and gives you a lot to feast your ears on. So anyway, those are my thoughts. As always, get in the comments, tell me what you think, and until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. Nearly got that wrong. For now, ciao ciao.